Okay, so very briefly, just to start off, I recognise a number of faces. You know, there's some customers in here, but also for people who don't currently know us, Britannic Technologies, we were founded in 1984, so a very well-established business. We're a value-added reseller. Mitel is a key strategic partner of ours, and you know, over the last few years, we made a change, really looking at where the market was going, the requirements that customers had ultimately on telecoms and IT providers, and really built out what was a managed service offering. So I'll pick up on a few of those things because it was a fundamental change in the business that we could see was needed ultimately for the future. We're also a system integrator, so as a business we've got our own development team. We bought a software company back in 2000, and with that came a lot of skills when it came to system integration, but also developing middleware technologies that enable the connection of different systems and platforms together. So as an example, we have a middleware CTI layer that connects in excess of 65 phone systems and over 60 different CRM systems off the shelf to help to deliver efficiency and service improvements for customers. And actually that's something that other SIs and software providers resell to market as well. We are a leading Mitel partner, so I was very pleased to be presented with an award from the CEO of Mitel, seems like a lifetime ago now, it was last month, for #1 contact centre provider. We're also #1 gold partner as well with Mitel, so long pedigree and successful relationship. I've mentioned the in-house development team, so a lot of strength when it comes to the technical capability of the business, not just understanding how to get the most out of the Mitel investment that people have made, but the wider capability of really bringing together different technologies and different services where we're able to deliver either an end-to-end solution for customers or, importantly, work with existing supply chain to make sure that the stuff is working cohesively together, so you're actually getting the most out of it. We're a service-led business, and I'm very pleased to say that we've got, I mean, I've rounded it up, it was 98.76% customer retention, so I put 99%, hopefully you'll forgive me for that. And we have 97% customer satisfaction. You know, we're very passionate about what we do. We run surveys once a year into our customers because we want to understand really how, where and why we improve and continue to drive forward in the marketplace. Very much a history of innovation and development, so you know, right back into the early days of creating the first phoning system for the BBC, which we rolled out across 100 stations nationwide, first private company to deliver a solution to the BBC, and right through contact centre and SIP technology. You know, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about today, we've been doing for many years. And I think importantly as well, you know, the changes that we went through, recognising that if people are going to move from traditional deployments, you know, distributed systems and architecture into potentially a cloud service model, it's quite a different way of consuming technology, and as part of it, it's the planning stage of how we actually work with customers to take the technology and move into this cloud environment. So, you know, big focus on developing change programs for customers, you know, reducing risk and providing clear project plans and signposting for how we move through these changes. SIP is one of the things that is kind of a prerequisite when it comes to cloud technology. Who in the room uses SIP today? Okay, so most people. You know, I'm very pleased that we saw an opportunity back in 2004. I know we were the first to do it because I phoned around all the carriers and nobody had an offering for SIP, but we did find somebody that would work with us to make changes to their network and connect to a gateway that we developed to be able to provide SIP trunking to the marketplace. So, where people are looking at moving to cloud, SIP is one of those technologies that really helps to reduce cost, helps to create the idea of a shared service platform, and ultimately connectivity into that cloud service. But we'll talk a little bit about that later on. And again, with the close working relationship we had with Mitel, we saw where they were going. The software itself had become decoupled from the boxes, the physical hardware, had become a software stream, and Mitel were the first to market with a virtualized solution, so using VMware. And again, we saw the opportunity of taking that model, that approach, and actually building out cloud environments ourselves that we could then work and deliver into the marketplace. So, Mitel have been very influential in the direction that we took. So we've partnered with Mitel since 2003. Great relationships, very early adopters of IP telephony, and we've got developers within the business that not only develop our own applications, but have worked in Mitel in the development team as well. So we know how to get the most out of this technology. I'll move on to those. I mean, there's a line at the bottom which says we're a safe pair of hands, which is fantastic. That's not me saying it. That's something that's regularly commented by Mitel. So again, it really reinforces the relationship. So what changed? So why the cloud, right? And for me, I think there was a couple of things. One was the changes in technology. So what we'd seen was the collapsing. All the IT infrastructure was getting smaller, and IT systems had moved into a virtualized environment. So we were seeing more and more IT services move into data centers. We were also at the same time seeing the change in networking. So it was a lot easier to connect to systems over either high-speed broadband or fiber connections. And alongside that, clearly there was the challenges of the financial market. So the global recession that we all saw, and businesses were looking at really trying to do things differently. So potentially we need to people were looking at scaling down or moving to more flexible models that they could accommodate change. So if they needed to reduce headcount in a particular area, they could. They weren't on systems and platforms that ultimately were ring-fenced and restricted around how they needed to work. If they needed to go and scale and start to introduce new technology, again, what we were seeing was people were looking at in the marketplace and wanted to take technology and be a lot more agile and flexible in how they were using it. So the idea of turning stuff on and turning stuff off, and the pay-as-you-go type models, and that really led way to the introduction of a number of software vendors that brought hosted telephony systems out to market, and we were starting to see a little bit of traction with some early innovators in that space. But what we were seeing ultimately was a trade-off between the functionality that was delivered, because people were trying to create this great big vanilla platform that would address everyone's needs. So there was a shrinking of capability, and yes, it was delivering flexibility around cost per user per month and the ability to flex up and flex down, but there was a trade-off around functionality. So as I said, seeing what Mitel were doing, seeing where they were going, we took the move to work with them to take what was great technology that our customers were already using and the market was already using, but convert it into a cloud service, a cloud stream. And actually what we did with a lot of customers was we took the existing licensing and just moved it. And I think that was a big point with Mitel, was the fact that the software stream could be deployed on a Mitel 3300, on an industry standard server, in a VMware environment, or indeed into cloud environments. So it was a great opportunity, and I'm very pleased to say that we had some great take up as well, and that's carried on over the years. In fact, last financial year we just achieved 20% growth, and a lot of people really adopting the cloud technology. We undertook some research into the marketplace as well, so looking at the take up of the cloud, and we surveyed CIOs and IT managers, and it was across organisations between 50 and 5,000 plus employees. And what we saw is that 56 companies hadn't yet embarked upon a cloud model for telephony, and they could see some of the things they were missing out of. 44% had started to move to cloud and had the comms or UC platforms in the cloud. And what I'll do is I'll talk around the key benefits that came out of that research, the key things that people were able to achieve. What's interesting is 80% of the people that surveyed were already using cloud services in their private lives. So, one of the things that we talk about in our industry is the consumerization of IT, the fact that people use tech at home and they want to bring it into the workplace. There's a lot more people using mobiles and tablets, so that term of bring your own device, BYOD, was emerging. So people were experiencing the flexibility and the speed of actually consuming technology in their own personal lives and wanted to follow that same model forward in the workplace. So a lot of people understood the cloud proposition, and what again was interesting to see was that there was a big chunk of people that had started on this journey, had started to put their toe in the water and have certain teams or operations running from the cloud. And indeed, as I said, we've also worked with customers where there's been a wholesale change to cloud as well. And I think part of that is predicated based upon where people are at, things such as contract renewal points, and what is and when is the right time and driver to move to the cloud. So what were the key things, the key reasons that came out of the research as to why to move to the cloud, why to move to these software as a service models? So saving money was a big one. 60% of people said they wanted to move to these models to save money. 55% wanted the agility, the greater business agility that came with cloud. 40% speed of deployment as the benefit. 33% believe that they'll be able to free up the IT team. So instead of having lots and lots of different systems and suppliers to manage, actually either moving to a cloud provider that someone was delivering a fully managed service, or the benefit of a centralized platform was seen as helping people reduce the overhead on the IT team. And of course, improve resilience and reliability. And I think that's an interesting one, because if you look at it, we're moving everything into one place. We're now, I'll talk about an example of Trailfinders shortly, where 29 locations were all moved into a cloud system. Previously they had phone systems on individual sites, so if one went down, 28 carried on working. Now they'd moved to a cloud environment. If the cloud went down, the whole business would fail, right? So part of it was actually looking at the BCP, looking at the design, and making sure that resilience was built into the core, which has been done. So I'm just going to very quickly give you a 10-second overview of a couple of customers that we've worked with against those key benefits that came out of the research. So one is KM Group, so it's a media company in the southeast of England, and for them the key driver was to save money and ultimately restructure the contracts that they had. So lots of different systems, lots of different suppliers, lots of different services. We worked with them, designed a plan, moved them to the cloud, and we actually delivered them 46% cost savings through a cloud managed service on-premise solution. Lots of other benefits besides. Menzies, another project project, the key thing for those guys was about greater business agility. And again, what we're seeing is people who want applications on mobile phones or on iPads and want to be able to move around offices and work the same, whether they're at home, in the field, or in the actual confines of the building. So again, creating an environment that's spanning a number of different locations, centralized software delivery and control, and being able to push these applications out to the end devices on mobile phones, really making a change to how these guys work. Trail finders, I mentioned that, yes, big cost saving, but then, every time they opened up a new travel centre before, it would take weeks and weeks, to design all of this. They were having to buy a new phone system, ISDN lines, having to buy call recording technology, integrate the CRM system with the phone system, and there's a lot of work involved each and every time they did that. Once they moved to the cloud, everything was set up, pre-tested, and it was just very much a case of plugging in the phones, connecting into the network, and they were live. Everything had been pre-tested. And their IT director is quoted as saying that it now takes 10 minutes to set up a new travel centre. I mean, clearly the connection's got to be in place, but once the connection's in place, it's very, very quick and easy to deploy the technology. ISS, so a bit of a change in how they were operating is, they wanted to free up the IT team to work on delivering value back into the business. So more of a move from an traditional IT team into more of a IT operations and projects team, working very closely supporting the business in winning contracts in the marketplace. So when they won the contract with Barclays Bank, the biggest contract they'd ever won, part of what they sold was this state-of-the-art contact center that they didn't have, but they had a cloud platform. They came to us and said, we need to deliver this as part of the contract. We built, we tested, and we deployed this new contact center solution that met the requirements of the contract, start to finish, in 6 weeks. And previously, that would have been such an overhead for their IT team to, try and put all that together and build and deliver. And we're going to hear from Martin from Mears, but again, one of the benefits there was really focusing on availability, resilience, and business continuity. But I'll leave that one for Martin to cover himself. So hopefully that set the scene. There's been lots of change in our industry. I've just picked up a few examples of customers, and again, really reinforcing what we've seen from the research we've done, the conversations we've had with customers, the projects that we've done over the last 5 years, as to some of the benefits that can be achieved from cloud. And really now the thing is to hand over to Lisa, and we'll start digging into this in a bit more detail. Okay? Thank you.